Okay, are we ready? My name's Maggie. I'm an under-earner from Seattle.
Hi, Maggie.
Today I'm going to talk about 5 habits that you can use to support your vision. Rico, please hold them up. Tracking your spending, analyzing your spending, using a spending plan, using an earning plan, and saving money. Now, this brings up a lot of emotion in people, and so I'm going to get the objections on the table right off the bat, starting with Dory.
But I can't do numbers.
Next.
But I don't have enough time.
But I don't wanna.
But I'm too sick and fragile.
But I'm too much of a spoiled brat.
But I just can't. But I'm too busy chasing tail.
I'm too much of arrogant asshole.
Thank you, everybody. So now I want anybody who feels desperate, in despair, about even thinking about doing these habits, please raise your hand. Quite a few people in the room. What I've done is I've asked Janet, will you stand up, to pass around some colored papers so that the rest of you can write a sentence of encouragement for all those people who just raised their hands. A sentence of encouragement. And then at the end, I'm going to give an award, a little like an Academy Award. It's just a card, but with those notes to the people who raised their hands to say they were desperate. Because my message today is you can do this. I'm going to tell you some stories about why. Okay, tracking your spending. Before I tracked my spending, I didn't have categories. You know that expression that says, I have problems in areas where I didn't used to have areas? Many years ago, I rented a place where I literally had to climb in the window to get in, to look at the place. The landlord had lost the key. So I climbed in the window, unlocked the door, smelled the gas heater. But since it was only $200 a month, I figured, I can deal with a smelly gas heater. Well, my 2 cats and I all developed cancer. That's not having spending categories. That's having a very small vision. Once I started tracking my spending, I started developing more categories, like a decent place to live, and all the basics that you would think most of us would want to have. But also, I have categories now for saving, for tithing, for amends, and for dates. I have categories that I've never had before. And the result is, my joy is that the world widens up because I have categories. So as you're doing your vision boards, you may have realized that you're seeing pictures of things you hadn't thought about. So suddenly your life gets bigger. Is there anybody who wants to call out 1 or 2 words of category that you now have in your brain that you didn't have earlier today? Yes, right there, Maxine.
Oh, you said earlier today, I'm sorry, vacation.
Vacation. One more.
Millionaire.
What was that?
Millionaire.
Millionaire. All right, great. So if you don't track your spending, you may be cheating yourself of more categories. The second habit to develop is to analyze your spending. So you've collected all this data. Now let's look at it. I had an experience when I first started analyzing my spending that was quite revealing. I discovered that I was running around doing a lot of errands. I was talking to the guy at the bank, the lady at the grocery store, the person at the dry cleaners, the person at the, the post office, because I was lonely. However, I was not ever going out to eat with friends. So unlike most Americans who should go out to eat less, probably, I discovered that I should go out to eat more. And because I went out to eat more with friends and had a more social time, I spent less money. What a concept. I fixed my loneliness and I spent less money. So those are some reasons to analyze your spending. Oh, here's another one. I was in Missoula, Montana, visiting a friend. We decided to go to a steakhouse down the road. And we took her car, left in daylight. It was fine. When we got back in the car after dinner, I noticed that I couldn't see very far ahead of us on the road. This was a highway that was known for a lot of fatal car crashes. And I got really nervous. I said, "What's with your headlights?" And she said, "Oh, I can't afford to replace them. They're really dim and they point down." So I was gripping the side of my chair, my seat, all the way home. She said, "Oh, it's only 20 minutes. And I thought to myself, okay, so you're willing to spend money on steak dinners, but you're not willing to spend money on protecting my life, right? So when you're not analyzing your spending, you don't have opportunities to have insights about stuff like this. So that's why to analyze your spending. I don't know if I said this earlier. This isn't a how-to talk. I'm not going to tell you which software programs or which phone apps are best for this. I'm just trying to motivate you to say, you can do this, and you can do bite-sized pieces. So for example, for tracking your spending, what if you took a piece of paper that's like an index card, the size of an index card, and just write, $10 for gas, 20 cents for, whatever, stamps, and just stick it in your back pocket. Just do it. Just do a bite-sized action, and that will get you started with this habit. For analyzing your spending, pick 3 categories that you're curious about. Yeah, Chuck's got his index card. His is orange. Pick 3 categories that you want to know. You want to be a sleuth. That these things are a mystery to you. Why are you spending so much, or why are you spending so little? And what does that tell you about your emotional life, your relationships, your vision for the future? Okay, the third habit is to use a spending plan. So you have now tracked your spending, you have analyzed your spending records. Now you're going to put together a plan for the future based on those records. So maybe you average 3 months worth of your spending records. As a result of having a spending plan, 3 years ago, when the volcano called Eyjafjallajökull erupted in Iceland and closed all the airports in Europe, I flew to Iceland. The airport in Reykjavik was closed, so they flew us to northern Iceland to a town called Akureyri, and we got a free 6-hour bus ride through some of the most stunning countryside I've ever seen. And I saw these horses. They have unique horses in Iceland that have a gait unlike any horse on the planet, and they don't let them breed. Once a horse leaves Iceland, they can never come back because of this special gait, which I'll tell you about offline. If I didn't have a spending plan, I would never have gotten to Iceland. If I didn't have a plan for how I was going to enrich my life, make my life bigger, I would never have done anything like that. So, you know what? Pick 3 categories that are part of your vision and plan the next 3 months. Just plan. Look, all of these little baby bite-sized pieces can take 5 or 10 minutes a day, maybe at most. You can do this. in spite of all your objections that you read to me. The fourth habit is the earning plan. And this is something I learned about in UA. I learned about it from Juliet. I never even thought about an earning plan, but in order to meet my spending plan, in order to make my nut every month, I have to earn a certain amount of money. It was pointed out to me by somebody that most people work, I think it's 23 days a month. So I have to take my nut, which is the total from the spending plan, how much does it cost me to live every month, divide that by 23 days, divide that by however many hours I work a day, and that's what I have to earn per hour. So I'm not getting the formula exactly right, but the concept is you figure out how many hours you're going to work in a month and how many dollars you need to make that month, and do the math to tell you how much you have to earn. I hired a business coach recently. I had been planning that I was going to work 30 hours a week and make a lot of money. And having had cancer twice and gone through chemotherapy and radiation twice, I don't have the energy I used to have. So I didn't want to work more than 30 hours a week. Well, she told me, after I told her what I do, and I gave her all my spending records, and I gave her all this analysis of what I was doing and my business plan and all this, she said, Maggie, you're only going to be able to work 20 hours a week, which means that you're going to have to double your rates. What a concept. Like, if I didn't know about that, I would never know that I had to earn. I wouldn't have an earning plan, but now I have an earning plan. I'm not there yet. I'm not there with most of this stuff. But your baby step, your bite-sized step might be as simple as figuring out how many days a month you can work. 5 minutes, okay. Figuring out how many days a month you can work and getting together with your action meeting people and talking to them about what your earning plan should be. Okay, the last habit is saving money. And Janet, if you could start collecting those words of encouragement, if you could pass them down the rows right here to Janet, who's right over here by the other microphone. She's going to put those notes of encouragement into the cards. And we're going to hand them out in 5 minutes. All right, the last habit is saving money. And you notice how in our tool about saving, it talks about we save on whatever scale we are able. That could be 1 cent a month. It's not important what the amount is. It's important that I develop and maintain the habit. So I started saving by taking all my coins and putting them in the bank at the end of the month. I never pay with coins. I always pay with bills. I take my change. It might be $5, it might be $10, but it got me in the habit. And because I started that habit about a year ago, I now save for taxes. And when the taxes came due, I was able to pay them. I save for tithing, because tithing is another one of my habits. Ask me about tithing if you want to hear about prosperity with that, like a huge unexpected refund check from the IRS. And I save for retirement. I heard a long time ago something about how thoughts become actions, actions become habits, habits become character, and character becomes destiny. When you think about it, if I think that I will never make enough money to support myself, then the actions will be I'll hide in the cave and avoid taking any actions that would develop my ability to support myself. I will watch too much television. I will probably underspend. I will have constant generalized anxiety. And the ultimate consequences will be things like bank fees, eviction notices, having the water cut off. My character, if I do those habits, is that I will be a worrywart, a scaredy cat, and on some level, an entitled victim princess. like you have to do it for me because I'm such a victim. And my destiny will be a small, unfulfilled life. Whereas, if I believe I can make enough to support myself with help and with resources available to me, then maybe I'll take some actions like taking a class, applying for jobs, prospecting for sales, asking for help. I'll be proactive. My character will be, I will be a man or woman, I will be a woman of courage, wisdom, serenity, vision, energy, confidence, and my life will be big and fulfilling. So don't kid yourself that these habits, these habits are immensely powerful, and all you have to do is start. So if you're one of those people, I think Janet's still working on the cards, but if you're one of those people that raised your hand at the beginning to say you're in despair. You done? Oh, yeah. Okay, please raise your hands again, and Janet, please pass the cards. These are Academy Awards that say, yes, you can, and they'll have notes from other people. Thank you very much.
And we're going to pass out some that are not in cards because you have more people.
Okay.
I'm sorry we don't have time for questions right now, so please could you leave the questions till later. Great. Thank you very much, Maggie. Thank you.